how 50% of the Premier League can qualify for Europe as never-before-seen scenario emerges. An incredible scenario could see 10 Premier League teams playing in Europe. An against-all-odds scenario that would see half of the Premier League secure European football has emerged. There is less than 3 weeks left in the Premier League season, and for many clubs there is still so much to play for. Of course, the biggest narrative for the remainder of the season will be the title race between Arsenal, who currently sit atop the league table, and Manchester City. As it stands, the Gunners are 6 points ahead of their rivals, but with City holding 2 games in hand, it is still all up to Pep Guardiola's side. But Arsenal and Manchester City are far from the only clubs looking to pick up crucial points in the coming weeks, as West Ham United and London rivals Tottenham Hotspur battle at the bottom of the table for Premier League survival. Elsewhere of the table, there are still over a dozen teams that could secure a place in a European competition next season, with as many as 10 different Premier League clubs able to qualify for European football simultaneously if a never-before-seen scenario plays out. At the very least, the top 7 clubs in the Premier League will play in Europe next season, with the top 5 securing Champions League football and 6th and 7th getting a spot in the Europa and Conference League respectively. But it is actually very plausible that 6 sides could play in the Champions League, with Aston Villa finishing in 5th place exactly while winning the Europa League, handing qualification to the 6th place team in the Premier League. As it stands, Villa are on course to do half of this already, as they sit 5th in the league while trailing Nottingham Forest 1-0 after the first leg of the Europa League semi-final, but they play at home for Thursday's return leg. This wouldn't have any impact on the European places further down the league table, but that doesn't mean they can't be impacted, as the FA Cup could yet play a role. If Manchester City, the current favourites, win the FA Cup, or if Chelsea win it and finish in the top 7, they are currently 9th, then the European spots will change even more. This scenario would mean that 7th place would get into the Europa League and 8th would be a Conference League spot. And things could change even more, as if both Nottingham Forest win the Europa League and Crystal Palace win the Conference League without finishing in the top 7 or 8. It would mean that half of the league would be in Europe next season. In this scenario, Nottingham Forest would claim a spot in the Champions League, with Palace securing a Europa League spot in addition to the top 8 sides that automatically qualify for Europe.